Hi, good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin, and today I'm changing the topic a little bit. I need you to tell me whether you can hear me because I do have my beats on this morning. So let me know. But this morning, we're going to talk about your one thing. And I want to give practical strategies of how to determine what that is and to help you to look at the possibilities of when you go in and you focus on what you were meant to do. I'll tell you where this came from. I'll tell you why I'm kind of harping on this morning when I'm supposed to be speaking about communication. And but before we begin, you guys, yeah, I'm in glasses this morning. It's one of these days I didn't want to be on camera because I hate these glasses. You know how when you buy glasses and you think they were nice, and then you come home and then your spouse or your kids look at you like, "Oh, okay." That's what happened with me and these glasses about a year ago. So I don't wear them very often because I don't really like them, but my eyes are really tired this morning. So I had to put on glasses. So it's one of these days. Just forget the glasses, okay? Focus on what I'm going to say this morning because it's really going to be good. Let's get started. Do you know what you're supposed to be doing with your life? I speak a lot about finding your why. And I speak a lot about, that your gifts and your skills, plus your big reason for wanting to do something, that is your why. Can somebody tell me if you can hear me this morning? Let me just make sure. All right. Yeah, I think it's there. And it's actually sounding a little better. You guys tell me whether you can hear me okay. And where's this coming from? Why am I changing the topic this morning? Well, one of my favorite podcasters and coaches, she basically hung up her hat this morning with her very last podcast, she said, for a while. And it was oh my gosh, such an illuminating podcast that it brought me all the way back to what am I doing? What are we doing, you as my audience? And have we figured out the one thing we want to sink our teeth into for the rest of our lives? And if we have, are we actively pursuing it or making steps to do that? And that's a topic this morning. Let me set the stage for you. So, one of the coaches who I follow very closely, her name is Brooke Castillo. And in many ways, for many of us, she's like the mother of life coaching. Developed her own system, which I use in my coaching, that model of CTFAR, that your circumstance determines your thoughts determine your feelings determine your actions, and it is from those actions that you get results, so that you can have the same circumstance, and if you change the thought about it, you can literally get a different result. I've proven it in my own life, and I use it with my clients. The CTFAR model works in many instances. Okay. This morning, episode number 531. This podcast is 531 or something like that, 530 or something like that. She said it's going to be her last. And she was just going back and pointing to all the ways in which she had developed a body of work over the years. And this is over about 20 years of her life working consistently in life coaching and developing life and products and services around it. She has influenced so many people, including me, to get into the field, and not just get into the field, but to become a thought leader in my corner of the world and to take my mind and my experiences, put these things together and create something new. So that podcast this morning was very illuminating, and it got me thinking about my audience, got me thinking about, okay, are we, here am I speaking, and I'm not even live on Instagram. I thought I was live on Instagram. Okay. Hi, Instagram. Good morning. I thought I was live there and I wasn't. So welcome wherever you're watching me from. I forgot to say good morning to LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the Watch Radio family. Good morning to you. Please let me know if you can hear me. And so that podcast this morning brought me all the way back to, have you found, my dear listener, this morning, have you found the thing that you want to sink your teeth into for the rest of your life? Is it speaking? Is it writing? Is it drawing? Is it selling? What is it? Is it training? Is it human resource management? Is it parenting? Is it homeschooling? Is it accounting? Is it diplomacy? You know what? I'm just going through my list of clients. Is it tourism? Oh my goodness. Have you found a thing that you want to sink your teeth into for the rest of your life? And perhaps you are hesitant to answer because you're thinking of the next question. What next do I do if I've found it? Right? I answer all the time the question of, like, how do you find it? And just perhaps, I think I do have videos on YouTube that point to when I did Find Your Why. You can just go Google it, Find Your Why, go subscribe to Basement Chronicles, because in the new year, I'll be doing a lot of training on finding your why and what's your calling, that kind of thing. So you want to stay around. You really want to stay around, okay? So that was the question this morning. And in terms of finding your big why, finding your calling, one good place to start is always the question, what is easy for me to do and difficult for others? That question perhaps takes care of 50% of what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Because they always say, this guy, I think I got his name right, Alex Hormozi, I think he says, go where you have an unfair advantage. Many times, where you have an unfair advantage is where you have a natural talent. You have a natural gift, right? That's where you have the unfair advantage. So you start there. And, in preparation for doing this little segment this morning, I wanted to look at two models of people who have taken their talent and made something of it. Because you might be asking, okay, Elisa, my talent is in speaking, or my talent is in drawing, or it might be in, let's say, accounting, or it might be, I wrote down a couple others, let's say teaching, for example. Okay, maybe I'm a teacher right now. What then do I do with that talent? How can I make it into something big? I would like to go to somebody who we all know very well. Do you know about TD Jakes? We then are going, if you're not into the whole spiritual thing, we are also going to look at Oprah Winfrey as another example of somebody who has taken a talent and made an empire out of it. And I will show you how it is possible for you to do the same thing. And I think when we look at TD Jakes, and do you know who he is? He's the senior pastor of the Potter's House, well known for Woman Thou Art Loosed. That was so many years ago. It has given way to, is it Evolve with his daughter right now? And many books, sermons. He's like a stalwart, albeit a kind of controversial one these days. He's like a stalwart in the whole Christian community, known as a speaker, known for being, that man is also very poetic. You listen to him and you hear the poetry coming through. You read his books and there it's lyrical, literally. So there's a lot of stuff going on there with words for days. That's what I call the talent, words for days, okay? One time, I heard TD Jakes say that people always ask him, how is he able to do so much? The books, the conferences, the preaching, the coaching, the interviews, all of the things. And do you know what he said? He said, if people realize everything is around his communication. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything is around communication. That's what he said. Everything that he does is around communication. So I took just a cursory look at the things that he does. And I want to present the concept of taking your talent in the first instance and trying to look at it as a family, right? So let's say it's an extended family. Let's look at cousins. Let's look at, if you have this family home and then you have all of the cousins coming in. I'm just thinking of my grandmother's house many years ago, grandparents' house, and how during the holidays, all of the cousins would gather there at that house. And so I always have the concept in my head of when you've got a talent, when you've got a thing that you can do well, Then you have to think of the cousins, the things that are related to that talent that can make money for you, or that can make a living for you, or that you can do. So you still will be sinking your teeth into that thing for the rest of your life, but it's just that it is going to be just going to be put out in different forms. TD Jake says that his talent is communication. I believe him. Do you? What do you think? When you look at everything that he's done, so we have books. He has written many books. And I would actually add for him, it's communication, and like his whole point too is to spread the gospel. So communication plus Christ. So those two things, his gift is communication, his why is Christ, to spread the gospel, to tell people about Jesus Christ. What comes out of that calling? All of these cousins, are you ready? There are books, there are conferences, there are sermons. He does coaching. He does specials on TV. He's in television programs and movies and all sorts of specials. Sometimes he does interviews on the news to kind of answer to any issue that affects the Black community or something that's going on. He's looked at as that kind of heavyweight. Another thing that I know he does, there's also a school of divinity that, again, communication, again, that prowess with words and being able to get a message out. That is his gift. And so the cousins that are attached to that family home of communication are just the things that I just spoke about. And perhaps there are more that you can point to if you know the character, if you know him well enough. What about you? Do you have a gift of baking? Do you have a gift for, or a skill, right? A skill is something that you've honed that, comes well naturally to you now, but it wasn't something you were born with, like speaking or drawing, whatever, but it's a skill that you've honed over, a profession that you have entered and that you're good at. And you're wondering, this is my gift. What can I do with it? Listen, there are many things that you can do. There are many things that you can do. Let's say it is baking. So what will you bake? Where can you put is it baked goods? I remember just thinking about that. I recently heard, I think, was it, those of you who are from the Caribbean, everybody knows Kiss Bakery, Kiss Goods, baked goods from Trinidad, I think it is. I remember when they came out, when I was still at university there in the 90s. And they started with like a 2-cake thing. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. There was cream in the middle. Oh my goodness. And what they did, took that prowess with baking, and Kiss has so many products now, so many different things. I recently heard an ad where I haven't seen it, but I think they now do, they now do gluten-free as well. So they're now doing cakes that don't have any flour to cater to those people who are, they have all of the allergies and so on. So that is somebody taking a gift and then progressively doing the products. Is that you? Can you do that with your own gift or your own skill? It's very important that we are able to actually take our talents and take our skills and turn them into something very viable. Now, this concept of I take the gift, I take the talent, I take those skills that I've got, and I then begin to develop things around it. Look at Oprah. What do you know about Oprah? Again, Oprah too is the gift of communication, the gift of the gab, the gift of words. What did she do with it? TV shows, okay? Books. I think Oprah has a book or two, right? Then there's another thing that she took that's added to her special quality, which is her ability to connect with people. And how did she leverage that? Then she's like, okay, I'm good at connecting people. Let me interview people. Let me have a TV show. So all of these people she still interviews, even though she's off like the mainstream TV. She now has her own network. Of course, she paired all of these skills, I think, with a very acute, a very great sense of business savvy. Like, oh my gosh, to be able to build the billion-dollar empire that she now has? What are the cousins all around the things that she does? She has the TV studio. She's doing this. She's doing that. You can go research her if you're under a rock and you don't know who Oprah Winfrey is. Oh my gosh! But let's bring it back to your level. And the first thing that I want to note about both those people that I looked at, you know who else we can look at? Michael Jordan. His thing is basketball. How did basketball come to shoes? And I mean, this guy just stayed where he was good. And that is one of the things I think we need to kind of look at for ourselves. You stay where you make the most sense. And if you can't find in making the most sense to yourself, you can't find a thing in its raw form that would appeal to other people, that solves a pain point, you've just got some work to do. The question is, how can I apply my gift or my talent to help mankind? How can I solve somebody's pain with the talent or the gift that I have? How do you answer that question, my dear people? That I think is what we're supposed to look at. How do you answer the question? How do I solve the problem of somebody's problem with the gifts and the talent and the skills that I have? The minute you can answer that question is when you see you have a business, when you have something that you can sink your teeth into for the rest of your life. Okay, so that's very important. I just want to make sure of something here. Give me a second. Thank you. And okay, all right, it's working. Let me just see. So have you figured that out? Take some time. I like to take this skill when I work with clients. Take your skills and your talents, like, just do a little mind map, put it in the middle of a page, and then just brainstorm with all the ways that you can find the cousins, the relations to that talent, to that gift, to that skill. And then by process of elimination, brainstorming, discussing, that kind of thing, you will hop upon a thing that you can do in this world and sink your teeth into for the rest of your life. I heard Brooke this morning and I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do. When you want to speak about a body of work, is it AI? For me, it's now becoming like intellectually, I'm very interested in that intersection of AI and coaching. So that's that side of it. But there's also the side of the very visceral side of coaching helps. I was coaching a client recently, and her question that she came with was, we wanted to look back at what had happened in the year to see all of the achievements and to see whether, what are we going to do in the new year, basically. And recognize that with the coaching, alongside coaching, she had been able to do so much. Of course, being the perfectionist, certain things were like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this. I was like, no, look at all of those wins. Look at all of the things that you've started, most you've completed, the things you've put in place, the strategic decisions that you've made. It's time for you to just relax and to say, hey, I've done good work this year, and to just double down on what you did well and to put things in place to do what didn't quite work, tweak it a little bit to do better in 2025. So there's that side of coaching where I'm just like, sink my teeth into helping people. Like, how can I help you to accomplish your goal? Then there's also another side in terms of, hi, Sarah, how are you? Or Grace, Sarah, how are you doing? There's also the other side of, at that intellectual level, where is coaching going? What does it mean for people like me, people of color? How can we leverage it even at a very basic level to make coaching something that is just the norm in our society? So again, I'm like looking at the cousins of coaching from different categories to see, what am I doing in terms of speaking, in terms of, oh my goodness. That's why I love podcasting. That's why I love podcasting, because when you podcast, you get the chance to figure out your own thoughts and to bring people along as you do. It's really your space as the podcaster to really just think about what you do and to process it in such a way that it's interesting and makes other people think even of their own journeys. Because listening to this woman this morning talking about her hanging up her hat I saw opportunities, but more of it, I looked forward to the day when I could say, this is my body of work. And this is what I've sunk my teeth into for the betterment of obviously myself and my family, but ultimately the people who I serve, the people who I help, the professionals who I help to be able to marry personal and professional lives in such a way that you recognize that you do not have to choose between being happy personally and being happy professionally. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That too many people, because of a lack of help and a lack of focus and strategic kind of assistance that comes in coaching, too many people find themselves having to sacrifice their personal lives, their relationships, their health, those areas that really, really matter and make a difference in how you show up professionally. Too many people end up just simply accepting that I cannot have both a successful professional life and a successful personal life. And I tend to agree. I tend to disagree. I tend to say absolutely not. One of my longest standing clients has said this to me. She said, as you go higher up the executive ladder, the thing that she's realized is contrary to popular belief that strong women are usually alone. She said, in her opinion, from what she's seeing when she looks across, a lot of very strong executive women do have supportive partners. And I remember reading this book, Lean In, by, oh my gosh, what is her name, you guys? Remind me of this lady's name who wrote Lean In again, Sarah somebody, right? I forgot, you guys know who she is. And she said the same thing, that contrary to popular belief, many strong women do have supportive partners. And I believe part of the reason a lot of women buy into the fact that you have to be successful and alone is because we buy into the myth that we can't have both of them. And I absolutely not. I just do believe whatever you think is possible for yourself is what you're going to make possible. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So working with a coach says to you, hey, what if it's possible for you to go down that route, to have that success, but to also have the help and support of another human to help you to make life possible and meaningful? I mean, it's possible. From what I see, from the women I coach, and from what I see in life, it is very possible that you can make of life what exactly you want of it, and not what people think it should be. That is my thinking about it. And so I really want us to think about, what do you want to sink your teeth into for the rest of your life? I'm going to be 50. What did I just say? I'm going to be 50 next year. What? These glasses, I kind of look like I'm going to be 50 next year. Honestly, I'm going to get rid of them. Yeah. And they make me look older. They probably make me look my age. But it's a worthy question to ask, have you decided what the big picture is, what the big bucket is? And perhaps the strategy that I'm giving this morning is to think of your talent or your skill as that family, and to go in and put in the cousins. What are the other things that will become your legacy in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? What will be your legacy based on the fact that you recognize this is where I have an unfair advantage? You recognize this is where I'm good. This is what I can do. And to figure out, to take the time like I'm asking you to do, and figure out, with this gift and talent, what are the cousins? What are the related things that are attached to this talent that I've got, or this gift that I've got, or this skill that I have? What are the relational things that can augment the talent and make a legacy for me, basically? So the coach that I was speaking to you about is great with words, is very analytical, is a great coach. She became a thought leader in coaching. Then she built her practice of coaching. Then she has the podcast. Then she has books. Then she has a team. Oh my goodness, conferences, the entire thing. These things don't happen one time. These things happen incrementally, but they don't happen if you don't first decide, I'm going to sink my teeth in this for the rest of my life. and I'm going to make it work. And I'm going to find the things and discover along the way the relational aspects of it, the things that when I do them, they will still be related to that talent and that gift that I have. It's just being able to birth another form, another cousin in another area. That's all it is. So you guys, it's a wonderful time to be alive. It's a wonder. Oh my goodness. I actually mean that. It's a wonderful time to be alive. You know, a lot of things come together for me the more I pursue writing, coaching, speaking, and of course, a relationship with God that I think underpins and undergirds the level of creativity, the level of productivity, the level of consistency. A lot of things are birthed from first recognizing that. Sarah, what are you writing, sweetheart? I'm not seeing it. Why am I not seeing it? I'm just seeing your name pop up, but I'm not seeing what you're writing. Maybe you want to jump on Instagram at Lisa M. Dublin. I'm still live there, but I'm not seeing what I would love to hear what you were saying or to read what you were saying, but nothing comes up. I'm so sorry. I can't see it. Yeah. So I hope that if for your life, that you find the thing that you were meant to sink your teeth into for the rest of your life. Because when you do that, you'll be more fulfilled, number one. But number two, do you know what else is going to happen? The more you stay with something in passion, excitement, desire, is the more you see the possibilities of that category of thing. The more you see what you're able to do with it. The more you see the problems that it can solve. The more you put your talents, your experiences, your desires, and your hopes together to create something new. Because in your head, this is where you're at. This is where I'm parking my truck. This is where I'm pitching my tent. So you begin to look around you. Okay, if I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, how do I make this mine? How do I bring people along? How do I help people in this area, in this village right here? Because this is where I'm pitching my tent. If that makes any sense. Like, I'm really fired up. I'm reflective this morning, but very deeply resolved within me, just about the path and what is possible. So I just wish the same for you. So take a deep dive about the people who we look at, and you recognize that they've decided, I'm pitching my tent in here, and from here, I'm going to look around and see what there is to do. But I'm not moving ship just because it gets tough. No, I'm going to double down in here and look at what my talent is and see how it can be applied, what the cousins are, as I said, how it can be applied to the service of mankind. Okay, you guys, I'm going to stop here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, I've got a couple of things. Let me tell you about what's coming up right now. Okay, if you have a business and you don't like troubling people, you need to join this with me on Friday at 12 noon MST. I'll be holding a LinkedIn Live. It's called Pitch Perfect, and it will teach you how to share your business with clarity and confidence, whatever your business is. If you have a business, or you're thinking even about having a business, and already you are cringing in your head about how am I going to network, how am I going to do lives, how am I going to tell people about this business, you need to join Pitch Perfect. It's 1 hour long on Friday, the 6th of December. That's tomorrow at 12 noon MST. So that means that is 2 p.m. EST. You might need to take your lunch at that time, because that class might be exactly what you need to get out of the 9 to 5, so that you don't have to be on somebody's time when you want to listen to things like that. And I will teach you how to reframe a speaking situation about your business, not to think that you're going after people's money, but to look at how your business is of so much value to them that it will solve a problem for them. So why would you not want to tell them about it and help them out? Every business person who successfully markets the business answers the question in the client's mind: what is in it for me? We FM, it's called in the business. So join me tomorrow Join me tomorrow, 12 p.m. MST for Pitch Perfect. It's only going to be on LinkedIn, so it means you need to go follow me if you're listening to me anywhere else, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And as I said, I wish for you that you find the thing that you were meant to sink your teeth into for the rest of your life. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Take care.